Okay, we're out in the world again. City of London. But yeah, your family obtained both vehicles, so I don't know, like, 100% sure off the top of my head. But I'm fairly certain the, it was crazy. I know, right? The Mercury, I'm fairly certain, I think it was actually my grandpa's old work truck that he wound up restoring about, like, a couple decades ago. Is there a closer fast travel point for me to go to? Yeah, because I thought I was closer than I was. I'm not very close. I'm fairly certain that was just his old work truck that he restored close to a couple decades ago, which we're currently trying to fix the brake pads on because I think when he restored it, he might have installed them incorrectly. You see, there's a... Apparently, I'm no expert when it comes to vehicles, but apparently there's like two brake pads. There's like a short one and a long one. So you're supposed to have like a short one and a long one on each side. So like a short one and a long one on the left and a short one and a long one on the right. Apparently, both the short ones and both the long ones were put on like the same sides. So both the long ones were on one side and both the short ones were on one side. So anytime you hit the brakes, it would like pull you really hard to the right. So we're trying to get that fixed here in the near future, on the Mercury at least, is the case. And so yeah, that might have just been done incorrectly a couple decades ago when it was first done. And my grandpa might have just gotten, like, you know, used to it and just assumed that it was normal or something like that. But yeah, we're trying to get that fixed there. But yeah, so I'm fairly certain that was his old work truck there. The Fargo, he I believe he bought it from like some farmer that he knew, I believe, and he was planning on restoring that as well. And he replaced the seats. So the seats in the Fargo are like pretty nice and like not worn down at all, and like really nice condition. But I think after he did the seats, he was like, you know what? I've done this like once before. I'm getting old. I'm done with doing this. Maybe someone else wants to restore it. So he asked my mom if she was interested in buying it and having it be like a project for us to restore one day. And talked about how, you know, Fargo's, much like the Mercury, was, you know, a kind of Canadian thing like that. And my mom thought that it might be a cool project for my dad and I to work on to restore one day. So she wound up buying it, I believe, off my grandpa after he had bought it off of some like farmer that he knew. I believe, something like that. So that was that. So we've had it close to a couple decades. Apparently not like a full couple decades. When I was talking to her about it recently, she said that it was probably somewhere closer to like 16 or something years ago. Somewhere from like 16 to 18 maybe. I'm not 100% certain. We've just had it like as long as I can remember. She said that I was young when we got it, but like I don't remember getting it. I just remember it like always being there pretty much. So that's how we got that. So my grandparents had like two antique vehicles. There was the Mercury, the old truck there, and the Pontiac. And you know, they've been losing their memory like really badly in recent times. You talk to them and you know, they're gonna be telling you the same things over and over and over again during the conversation, or tell you like the same stories over and over and over again. I'll start this mission while I keep rambling and whatnot. Searches for the man in the photograph. If it's a cutscene, I'll like chill on talking, but I'll keep on telling the story is what I'll do.
Please tell me you found the Ripper.
Murder at Oa's Manor.
People continue to be murdered on my watch. I cannot protect you or your brotherhood forever. Witnesses saw someone matching your description. I should lock you up.
Weaversbrook Publishing. The man from the photograph at the manor, he owns his paper.
Fry!
I will catch the Ripper, Inspector. But first you must help me find Weaversbrook before he does.
This way. You must not be seen.
After I just waltzed in the front door before.
Near St. Paul's. Now go.
I waltzed in the front door before, but I'll just go out the window this time. So, police officers are no longer your allies. Oh, due to Evie's alleged massacre at the manor, police officers will now try to stop you from illegal actions. Evie can't kill innocent policemen. There's non-lethal fear tools to disperse any police opposition, like the spikes and stuff. Okay. Okay, so there's that. Anyway, so we go this way, I suppose. So yeah, for a long time they've had the Mercury and the old Pontiac, and you know, the really special one to them, my grandpa especially, has always been the old Mercury. That truck has always been like his pride and joy. Yeah, I'm glad about that as well. But with them like losing their memory really badly recently, they had 3 kids, my dad and you know, my 2 aunts, one of which is down in the States. So their plan was that the Mercury would go to my dad, the Pontiac would go to my aunt who's here, and the aunt who's in the States would just be inheriting, like, a bit more money, essentially, was the plan. And with my grandparents losing their memory really badly in recent times, they wanted to give the Mercury during a time that, you know, they could be there actually doing it. Not just be, like, you know, something that's written down after passing or something like that. They wanted to actually be there and properly hand it off. So, it was actually last autumn that the Mercury came into the family over here and whatnot. So my dad had gone down to pick it up, and I wasn't there when it was happening, but apparently my grandpa was crying while it was happening, really sad to see it go, and my dad was like, well, don't need to take it right now. If you want to hold on to it. Like, no problem, no sweat off my shoulders. But my grandpa was like, no, I want you to have it. Please just take it. So ever since then, it's been living out at the lake cabin. So at this nice rural summer village has kind of become its new home. It can't do any driving right now because the front wheels are off until the brake issues are fixed. But that's become its new home out there. And it's a nice, you know, quaint home for that. We wanted to take it to the Canada Day parade in the local town that we go to for groceries. There was also a small parade for Canada Day in the summer village itself. And that would have been really cool driving it around for that. That would have been like the highlight of the parade. But the brake issues weren't fixed. We were going to work on it during the Canada Day weekend. But my dad and the village mechanic that was going to be working on it with them each thought that the other was bringing the part that was needed. So neither of them did. So it didn't get fixed. But yeah. Well, there was the Canada Day parade thingamabob there at the beginning of July, but that's passed now and it wasn't able to get up and running at the time. So, unfortunito there. Maybe a future year. Maybe a future year we'll be able to bring it to a thingamabob because it would be cool to continue its legacy of being in a lot of shows and whatnot. Because, you know, that's what it was doing for a lot of its lifetime and such. In fact, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents in that very same 1949 Mercury, going to like parades and show and shines and whatnot, and it's I think it'd be cool to continue that tradition. Like, and you go look on the inside of it, and like the whole top kind of ceiling area is just decorated in all these like car show awards and stuff like that, and there's like some bins with a bunch as well. So it'd be cool to continue that, but we gotta fix a bunch of things first. is the case. But yeah, so I'm fairly certain that the Mercury was just like the old restored work truck. The Fargo was, you know, bought from a farmer that he knew with planning to restore it one day, but then decided, like, nah, I'm done with this, and then, sold it to us. The Pontiac, I'm not 100% certain, but I know that the Pontiac has never actually been restored, and it's still in, like, beautiful condition. I don't know, how long they've had it, per se, but I do know that, whoa, okay, I did the thing, I guess. But I know that the last time we were there, my grandpa was telling me all about the story of Chief Pontiac and like the origin of the name and whatnot.
Stay away! He sees and hears everything.
My name is Evie Fry. I'm here to help.
Mr. Jacob Fry's sister?
Yes. What happened to these men?
Gone. Taken. Dead. Please. The Ripper has my son. He will kill him.
I will find your son and bring him home, sir. But first you must come with me. Now.
I'll accompany you to the location where my son was last seen.
Okay. Let's escort him then, I guess. Plan on getting completely restored before the end of the year. It's already been restored, the Mercury. It just gotta fix the brakes. That's all we gotta do, and then it can work again. The Fargo is gonna take several years to restore. That's definitely not happening before the end of the year. No chance of that. That's gonna take a long time. We can get it running before the end of the year, like the Fargo. Like, I mean, it's already running. We just gotta fix the brakes so it can stop. So, you know, we can get the Fargo operational before the end of the year, but it's gonna take like several years for it to be fully restored as a thing. As for the Mercury, we just gotta fix the brakes. And then that'll be in, you know, just fine order. I don't think that there's anything else to do with the Mercury. I mean, I think that there's like a light in the cab back that's kind of cracked and needs to be repaired. So I guess there's that, but that's not an immediate important thing, I guess. So I guess there's two things to do with that. And then like a bazillion things to do with the Fargo. This is the thing. That's being getting the brakes fixed. Yeah, we hope to do that here pretty soon. We were gonna do it the Canada Day weekend, but we didn't have the part. What was the thing? We went to a car show there for like 15 minutes before going home and realizing it was closed due to COVID. Oh, it's canceled. Don't know why you wrote closed there. Good old COVID, huh? So yeah, there's that. So yeah, there's literally 3 antique vehicles in the family. 2 of which are in very nice shape. One of those that just needs brakes fixed. And the other which is in not half bad condition, being the Fargo, but like, you know, has a long path to go before it's like in nice condition, you know. But yeah, a bit of a car guy, but trust you when you say your car shows kind of bore you. They're always 90% 1965 to 1974 Mustangs and literally 10% any other cars. I haven't been to a show and shine in a very long time, but I do remember having fun at like parades as a kiddo along with my grandparents, because like I would either be in like either in the cab or in the back there and you know, throwing out parade candy to you know, what? Okay, I didn't realize that you were here. Oh, that's crud. Kill the thug. Oh, just stab nothing. Okay, cool. Cool, I guess. But yeah, I do remember going to parades and whatnot and, you know, spending time in that. Going to some different places around the province. I think we even went to one in Saskatchewan once, I think. This is not where I want to be going. So, you know, out at the lake there where the Mercury is, it's still really jarring to me in a way, seeing it there. Because, you know, I kind of... Whenever I was spending time with my grandparents and whatnot, out doing things, it would typically be at like events related to that truck there. So I look at it and I still associate in my mind as like, that's their truck. What's it doing here? You know? So it's so there's that. Are you coming here? You are coming here. Okay. Bam. Okay. Loot. I said loot. So yeah, there's that. Jack's always make sure the doors are secure. We are expecting company. I've never driven it before. I still don't know how to drive a stick. I plan on getting help from my cousin in the near future to teach me how to drive a stick. Like, I'll learn how to drive a modern stick first, so like go into easy mode before hard mode, before I, you know, start figuring out how to drive the Mercury and Fargo, which is like the 3 on the tree thingamabob. So I'll learn how to drive a regular stick first before I drive the what the heck? Before driving the harder to do thingamabobs, because yeah, my dad doesn't want me driving the expensive nice old truck until I at least know how to drive a stick, which is understandable, you know, which is understandable. So yeah, now that I'm done with my Taekwondo testing, which, well, for like this weekend at least, I still have to go retesting. That's another story that I want to tell here in a smidge, in a second. Now that I'm done with that, maybe I'll finally be able to organize, you know, getting some stick driving practice. So, oh, guess I'm not doing that. Steal Jack's orders. Ha! I got it, I think. No, I didn't. I did not get it. But yeah. So if I like... Hold on. Can I like... Can I just scare them all off? Like, this maybe? Okay, so that'll scare a bunch of them off, at least. But yeah. Let's see here. Other things, I'm Mr. Dad's hella into cars, Lancer. I'm not into cars at all, but I do have a respect for, like, old vehicles and whatnot, because, like, stepping into a piece of history. Especially after, like, all the history classes I've taken in university. I think that, like, you know, the preservation of old things can be, really important. Is the thing. So I'm not at all into vehicles. I don't know like the first thing about vehicles, but I do have like a respect for these. I mean, it could also be in part of like spending so much time in that Mercury as a kid. Is what it could also be. Is what part of that could be from. But yeah, so I do have a respect for older vehicles and like the preservation of them and whatnot, you know. But yeah. Nothing you can confirm your card. Whoever dropped your 2013 at Barth 500. I have no idea what that is. I don't know car models like at all. Jack's big into the Hulk step forward. Mr. Billingsworth knows what to do with my guess. I know the model of my car, and that's it. Unless you count, like, you know, these old cars in the family. And whatnot.
Right after I find Mr. Weaversbrook's son.
So, you know. There's that. As for the, again, because I do like talking about life stuff during Assassin's Creed stuff because it's one of the longest ongoing series on the channel. I can, oh, it looks like I did have a photo sent here in my freaking Discord server that I literally just used to send stuff to myself. So, and like test out bots and whatnot. So, ignore the fact that there's an old Assassin's Creed Brotherhood clip here. This was the Hammer Ezio one. I was recently talking to someone about Assassin's Creed stuff and Brotherhood, so I was sending that to myself to have it like on my phone. That's a Mercury. That's what that is there by the lakefront. So this was short. This was like last summer is what this was. Like a little bit before autumn. You can see like a lot of the leaves like changing color along the lakefront there. So you know, took it for like some autumn drives around the village, brought to the lakefront where, you know, it's in beautiful condition or whatnot. Right now, it's, you know, just chilling with its front tires off because of, you know, trying to fix the brake issue. Like, if I, find a quick picture on my phone here to send into that thingamabob. Let's see here. View all recents. If I go to that from this past Canada Day weekend. If I just do this here, send that. So it's looking really beautiful there and whatnot, but the state that it's actually in right now is like, you know, time to fix things is what it is. I mean, it still looks like in really good shape and whatnot, but, you know, it's clearly like, yeah, time for things to get fixed and whatnot is essentially what's going on there. So, yeah, it'll get its tires back on again once the brake issues are fixed, and then it should be drivable again. Maybe by then, maybe I'll know how to drive a stick. Maybe. There's a, I mentioned before, I think I mentioned during the Assassin's Creed series how I went on, like, that freaking crusade at, like, the end of May along with a friend. Have I talked about that? I can always tell the story of that just in case I haven't. But that friend that I went on the freaking crusade with, I want to bring him out to the lake one day, and, I think it'd be really cool to be able to take him for a summer drive in that thing. But I need to know how to drive a stick first, is the thing. My dad's gonna be getting a knee surgery done this coming up week, so he won't be able to drive for a good while. So maybe I can learn how to drive a stick, and then maybe I'd be able to take my friendo on a really cool summer drive. That'd be cool. That'd be really neato there. And it's not like there's a lot of traffic on those roads out there. It's basically just like golf carts and stuff. Golf carts and quads. Just punch everybody in the gut. Or the neck, I guess. But yeah, let's just see here. But yeah, I think preservation is very important too. Yeah, I think it's a really neato thing. It's one of those tiny Fiat 500 hatchbacks that things that I still don't understand even with that. Like I said, I know nothing about vehicles, but with a big Garrett turbocharger attached to the engine, I don't know what that is either. It's fine, everyone makes fun of it and calls it a turn, then it can hold its own with much more popular cars like mid-2000 Mitsubishi Eclipses or 1990s Ford Mustangs, huh? Like I said, the only real car model that I know is like my own car model. I drive a 2005 Pontiac 5. It's not anything fancy, but it gets me from point A to point B. Is the thing. In fact, the AC and the heat is broken most of the time, so like if it's ever really hot or really cold, it kind of sucks, but you know, it it gets me from point A to point B, and it's a quaint little vehicle that I like. It's not worth a whole lot. I'm pretty sure my computer that I'm streaming this on is worth more than my car is, but you know. Ripper still controls the newspapers in London, help Mr. Weaversbrook convince other publishers to resist the Ripper's terror. Okay, do that. Fun fact, the Pontiac Vibe has the same engine and chases as the Toyota Matrix. I did not know that. I've heard the name Toyota Matrix before. I'm not 100% sure what it looks like, but I've heard the name at least. But yeah, looks awesome. Still really like the red color. Looks like it was just painted recently. It was painted like a long while ago, but it's just, you know, kept really good care of and whatnot. And also, when it comes to like the care of it, one of the kind of thingamabobs with it is how do I best tell this? How do I best tell this tale here? So I haven't really seen my grandpa angry a whole lot, but I've heard that apparently he could get like very angry at times, have like a bit of a temper, and apparently that's one of the reasons why my aunt who lives in the States moved down to the States in the first place. I know that my dad sometimes has a bit of a temper, and it's something that I have sometimes here and there as well. Like, you don't see it on stream a whole lot. Maybe sometimes if I'm really frustrated with somebody coming in and trying to be a troublemaker or something like that, but it's something that you don't really see around here too often. But it's something that's kind of been around my dad's side of the family there. Now, when it comes to the Mercury, my grandpa, what with how important that was to him, and it being like, you know, basically like his pride and joy and whatnot, he's very overprotective of it in a there goes that guy in a kind of questionable way, because I have one of my cousins on my dad's side is a mechanic. I think he's the manager at a Cal Tire place. If not, he's one of the like head honchos there, at least at this Cal Tire location. And whenever anything would have to be done on the Mercury, my grandpa would be like to his son, my dad, no, you do it all yourself. I don't want so-and-so, his own grandkid, who's a, you know, dedicated mechanic working on it. He's gonna mess something up. He won't know what to do about that. And it's like, okay, my dad, who's not a mechanic, somehow will know? Like, what? So both my dad and I found it very jarring that my grandpa didn't want, you know, his own mechanic grandkid working on it and wanted his son working on it instead, who is not a mechanic. But yeah, so he was very insistent about that. And whenever we'd have to fix any little things, because there have been some things since we got it that it turns out, yeah, it needs like a little bit of fixing up. Anytime that we'd tell him about that, he would get mad about it and be like, what do you mean you did so-and-so, so-and-so? What did you do to it? How did you break it? It was working perfectly fine when I had it. So now we just kind of don't tell him when we do things to the Mercury anymore, is the thing. And it's kind of been like the taboo thing that we don't talk about at like family gatherings and whatnot anymore. Because we know that if we say that we've been doing like work on it, he's just gonna get mad and feel like we, you know, did something to damage it to put it into that state because it was, you know, supposedly perfectly fine when he had it. So we haven't told him about the brakes issue, for example, because most likely he was the one that installed it incorrectly when it was restored forever ago, most likely. And you can't accuse him of doing anything wrong because he did it perfectly, you know? You can't, you don't dare accuse him of that. So, you know, even though it was something so important to him and whatnot, it's kind of sad to see that it's now become the kind of thing that you just don't really talk about anymore. If ever he asks you about it, it's just like, oh yeah, it's working perfectly fine. Thanks so much for that again, you know? So it's gotten kind of delicate. The last time that we were over there, which over in the area, like they don't live here in the city, they're a little bit out, was when I was getting new tires for my car through my mechanic cousin who's also in the area there. But while we were visiting them, you know, he was showing the Pontiac there that they still have, and, you know, all the pride and joy and whatnot with that. But the Mercury did not come up. It only came up very briefly in regards to me learning how to drive a stick, was the thing. Where he brought me into the Pontiac and, you know, without turning it on or anything, just showed me, like, generally what the 3 on the tree is in the old Pontiac. That was the only time that the Mercury came up during the most recent visit. So, you know, it is a little bit sad that it's become the kind of taboo subject. But yeah, it's kind of delicate. It is a weird situation there. I feel our message from earlier, but you're proud to have found a copy of Twilight Princess on Wii, unfortunately, for $16.99. I have that on my shelf too. And then the guy rung it up and said, well, it rung up as $11.99, $12 Twilight Princess. That's nice. That was a nice steal right there. Yeah, I do feel kind of bad in a way as well. But, you know, if you do mention, you know, that you did work on it, then he's just gonna get, like, mad and upset and hurt, feeling like you did something bad to it or something like that. So, you know, we've just kind of felt like it's for the best to, you know, not really talk about it anymore. So that's a delicate kind of subject there, essentially. So that's what's going on with that. It's a weird kind of situation. So yeah, that's what's going on with that. So yeah. So there's that. Also, in regards to, like, the it was funny, while I'm talking about this, I should also mention that I brought my little cousins out to the lake for the Canada Day weekend, and it was sad that we weren't able to take the Mercury out for a drive, considering, you know, the brakes still need to be fixed. But I was showing them the Mercury there, and it's funny, the younger one of the two, whenever there's anything that catches her interest for, like, more than a few moments, she always asks if she can have it. Like, she was looking at the Mercury there, and she was like, can I buy this off you one day? I was like, no. No, you cannot. And she was looking at, like, in the cab, there was this little bin that had, like, a bunch of awards from, like, a bunch of car shows and parades and whatnot. She was like, can I have one of these? I was trying to, like, look at what it would look like pinned onto her shirt, one of them, and I was like, no, you can't. She was like, but why? I was like, because they're freaking awards for the truck, is the thing. They're not, you know, associated for, like, you know, a person receiving that award, but rather, you know, a person's vehicle there, and that's this vehicle, you know? You cannot have it there. But anyway, they thought that it was kind of interesting, and they were asking me about getting the Mercury one day. I was like, no, you cannot. But what I did tell them was that, you know, if we do wind up restoring the Fargo together, and, you know, one day do have that truck into a really nice state, it seems like right now the family's kind of considering the Fargo to be in my hands, is what it sounds like. Like, when my, yeah, it's a lot of sentimental value for, like, this side of the family, my dad's side of the family, not my mother's side of the family, which my little cousins are on the side of. So it's like, no, they're not getting the Mercury. That's staying within this immediate family over here. That's not going anywhere there. But the Fargo, on the other hand, if we do wind up restoring that together as like a family project, it does sound like my family is kind of treating it as if it's kind of like my truck right now. Like, when it comes to the restoration process, my dad was asking me what I wanted to do for the restoration, whether that be like an old or new restoration, like bring it back to original, or put like, you know, new modern parts in there and make it be like a modern vehicle disguised as like an old vehicle, which I wanted to do. And I figured probably an old restoration, keep it closer to original, just because of it being, you know, that rare, distinctly Canadian kind of thing that Canada produced Dodge kind of situation. I figured original like that, and the Mercury's a original restoration as well. So I figured original for that reason. So, you know, with him putting like the choices and control in my hands when it comes to the restoration, he's treating it like, you know, like I'm the one in charge of the restoration, it's up to me and whatnot. And when I brought that up to my my mom, since my mom's the one that actually bought it and whatnot way back when I had asked her about it being treated like it's basically in my hands, my mom was just like, okay, it's yours. I was like, oh, okay. So, so yeah, the Fargo is being treated as mine, but, you know, I'm an only child. I don't have any siblings. So it naturally falls that the Mercury that's currently out at the lake, one day it'll be in my hands. And, you know, having the space for and, you know, maintaining 2 old vehicles, that's yeah, that's probably not all that feasible. Because unless you own like an acreage and have like a lot of space to put them, I wouldn't, like, if I'm living in the city and have like a 2-car garage or something like that, that'd mean that it'd be filled up at all times with like 2 old vehicles and no space for like other vehicles. I don't want that, and with like the winters out here and whatnot. So, like, I'm not gonna have to worry about, you know, what to do with the Mercury for a long time yet. I'm certain that's a freaking long ways off, but one day I'm gonna have to worry about it. So I told the kids, the Mercury's for sure staying in this immediate family, but if we work on the Fargo together and whatnot, it's mine right now, and I'd like to hold on to it for some time at least, but if you keep interest in it and do still, like, want the Fargo down the line, I'm sure we can work something out. I'm sure we can work something out in regards to the Fargo. So, hopefully they keep interest in it. Hopefully it does wind up becoming, like, a cool family project that they really resonate and really like for us to work on together. And then if everything works out there and they do wind up really liking it, then most likely I just sell it to them one day. Is what I would probably do. So, I'd like to hold on to the Fargo for some time, but probably just sell it to them one day. Or something like that. Because, yeah, don't need 2 antique trucks is probably a bit much, you know? So, yeah, there's that situation. But, yeah, don't know if you like it, honestly. Didn't like Ocarina of Time 3D, but Group has some Twilight Princess for $17. That was apparently $12. Yeah, may as well go for that. Did actually sell your old car recently, which is in the family for like 20 years, so it was kind of sad to see it go. If I ever sell my Pontiac 5, it'll be kind of sad to see it go. Like, it was my dad's car for a long time, and now it's my car. It's just, like, a quaint thing that I'm, like, attached to because it's nice and pleasant. Not because it has, like, you know, massive value like an antique would, but it's just a nice, quaint little thing. It's probably not worth a whole lot. Again, it just gets me from point A to point B, but I like it. And it's personal and stuff. Classic vehicle with modern parts, like a classic chassis or whatever the heck it was, and body, but with modern LED headlights, AC, maybe a modern engine, is known as a Restomod, huh? My dad was calling it a rat rod, was apparently like the slang around here and whatnot. But yeah, if you ever come for a big event over there, I'd like to see it in person if you don't mind. Yeah, you can see it here. I mean, the Fargo will most likely be worked on over at my cousin's place, so that'll be like, you know, around here, like a 5-minute drive away, but the other one is out at the lake, which is like an hour drive away. I mean, if you ever come for a freaking visit, I could take you out to the lake for a weekend or something like that. Wish your family had cool cars. Problem is your close extended family buys and sells cars faster than you can actually keep up. Oh, jeez. Yeah, we don't do a whole lot of that. Let's do this mission now. Prisoners. Let's do the thing on Monsters Creek. Evie has discovered that Jack transports his hostages downriver to old Hulk prison ships and an abandoned garrison near the deep sea port of Deptford. It's time to shut down his operation. Okay, let's do it. Let's do the thing. Let's go on the mission and do the thing. Do a little bit of a jig.